Hi Kingsgate kids, good to be back together again. Let's think about what Gideon is up to this week. Finally, Gideon realised that God was speaking to him through the angel and that he had a job to do. He had to decide God was speaking the truth when he called him a mighty warrior, even though he didn't feel like it. The trouble was, he was afraid. He realised that the first thing to do was to destroy the altars to fake gods in his city. This is what the Israelites were really in trouble for, making up gods and praising them. Here's the problem though. Gideon knew God was talking to him, but nobody else knew. So when Gideon went and destroyed the altars, nobody else was happy. He has to make a tough decision to choose to follow what God told him to do. He knew what he had to do. He had to be bold to make that decision for God. Being bold means overcoming a fear so that you do or say whatever's right with strength and courage. The only way that Gideon could have this courage was by knowing that God was with him. And it's the same for us. We may know that we have to stand up for something, which is really not going to be very popular. And we only have that strength by having God with us. Sometimes it's just a small step, a decision that we make, but knowing that God is on our side makes all the difference. Gideon was afraid of the men in his father's house and the other men in the city, so he pulled down the false gods at night, hoping that no one would know it was him. They did though, and as he suspected, the people were angry. To Gideon's surprise, however, his dad stood up for him. Help came for him even though he didn't expect it. When God asks us to do something, he will always help us do it. It says in the Bible, so we can feel sure and say, I will not be afraid because the Lord is my helper. People can't do anything to me. That's Hebrews 13 verse 6. God had bigger things in store for Gideon than just tearing down a few altars, but he had to get things right before he could start to do the bigger things. Maybe there are things that we have made bigger than God that stand in the way of us being able to follow him. Maybe we really want to go to football or dancing rather than church on a Sunday. Or we know God would want us to get our homework done, but we just want to sit in front of a screen. What can you think of that stops you from following God wholeheartedly? It would be good to think about this and ask God to help you do the right thing. It can just be a tiny step, but it could be the start of a whole journey.